Trigger warning, homophobia. AITA for not treating my wife like an equal parent by telling her she has no say in the way I bond with my son and also calling her homophobic. When I was 37 and my then girlfriend was pregnant with twin boys, her parents didn't want the babies to ruin her future, so they said that I had to either take them or give them up for adoption because she was not raising them. I wanted to give them up, but my parents told me not to. For the first 7 years of my boys' lives, I didn't act like a father but more like a big brother. They knew I was their father, though, but we never bonded like father-son. When I was ready to move out, I wanted to do it without them, but my dad let me know it was my responsibility, so I had to take them. I didn't want it at first, but I'm glad it happened. We started bonding as father-sons. I started loving them, and their love for me increased. I remember the three of us would sit on the couch to watch movies, one on my left and one on my right, while I wrapped my arms around them. They'd put their heads on my chest, and I often kissed their forehead. We've been doing this since they were 7. I met my current wife 5 years ago. My kids were 15. We married 3 years ago after we welcomed our daughter. She saw me doing this with my kids when we watched movies, and she never said anything. My kids are no longer living with us because they left for college, but they come to see me every now and then. My boys are 20 now, but they still like to put their heads on my chest while I wrap my arms around them. They do it every time they visit and I'm watching TV. My son, Liam, visited me 2 weeks ago. He came out to me as gay and introduced me to his boyfriend. I don't care how my kids live their sexuality or who they love. I love them no matter what. I just want them to be happy, and I don't feel any different. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable to hug him or kiss his forehead, but it seems that my wife is a little uncomfortable. My son visited me again last Wednesday, since he was here 2 weeks ago, so this was the first time he was officially out. I was watching Red with my daughter. She was on my left, then my son Liam arrived. He was tired and sat on my right, put his head on my shoulder while I wrapped my arm around him. Then I kissed his forehead and said, "Good to have you back, buddy." We went to sleep, and the next day my wife told me that it made her feel uncomfortable and asked me not to do it again while she didn't mind me doing it with Luca. He is my other son, straight. She didn't want me to do it with Liam. I told her that she has no business being in my relationship with my sons, and I also called her homophobic. She accused me of not treating her like an equal parent, so I said, "That's okay because you are not." My brother says I should understand because this is a big change for her, but seriously, I think there is nothing to get used to. This isn't neither her nor my problem. My son loves her. Am I in the wrong? In the comments. My dad didn't look at me for more than a year after I came out, and he didn't speak to me for a few days after that. I find this to be the most stupid thing in this world. Whatever my son does or doesn't do in his bedroom is completely up to him. The idea of disowning my kids for loving someone blows my brain out. If Reddit says you're wrong, will you stop showing affection to your son? As long as Liam is okay with it, so am I. My issue is not AITA for showing affection to my son. I just wanted to know if I was too rude to my wife. If so, I'd apologize but also set boundaries. What happened to the mother of your twins? Does she stay in contact? Well, it's a long story, but I'll try to sum it up. As she was a minor, and the babies weren't given up for adoption, her parents paid child support for around 7 years. She could finish high school and college, but after she finished college and got her first job, she started paying child support herself. She often asked me about the kids but was too ashamed to visit them, but she could finally meet them when my boys were around 14. They have been building a relationship since. Please don't let your wife change you. She won't. There are billions of women, but I only have 3 children who are my life. Hey, do we have an update? We are not on good terms now. She is staying with her parents now. My little princess is with me though. My son comes first, and I don't care how the F she was raised. This is my child, my blood, my flesh. There are billions of women, but I only have 3 children. Update. So, it's been a long time since my post went a little bit viral, and I've been getting some great support messages that I really appreciate. I wish I could reply to every comment, but I can't. I just don't have time. But I want you to know that I really appreciate all of those nice comments. I just finished a project, so I have time to update you all. After I posted on AITA for the first time my wife, and I had some arguments because she was trying to prevent me from showing affection to my son. She tried to persuade me to stop showing affection to my son because that's probably what turned him gay. I tried to just ignore her since I loved my wife and didn't want my princess to grow in a broken home, but the finally straw was like 2 months after the post. My son, Liam, was in town and told me that he wanted to bring his boyfriend to my house to watch a movie, and I was okay with it. I wasn't home at the time, but when I arrived, Liam and my wife were arguing. She was even kicking him out. I tried to talk to both of them, but Liam just left and told me he'd never visit my house as long as my wife was there. I talked to my wife, and she told me that Liam and his boyfriend were kissing. Yeah, like effing normal couples do. And that it wasn't right because that's not how she was raised, and that's why she found it disgusting. So I had enough and kicked her out and made it clear to her that my kids will always come first. She left like a week after the argument to stay with her parent. I tried to contact Liam, but he wouldn't answer my calls, and I didn't know where he was. Then his boyfriend came to my house to let me know that Liam was with him and told me everything my wife said to them. She called him FGGT, SLT, etc., and also told him that he being gay is the reason why his mom abandoned him. Liam had many insecurities growing up because he didn't have his mom in his life up until he was 14. And to that point he hadn't even come out to her because he was afraid of rejection. So that hit him hard. I didn't confront her about this because she had already left the house and I didn't want more drama. I went to see my son. I gave my little boy a hug, a kiss, and apologized for letting it get to this point. He should have never felt vulnerable in his own house. Keep in mind that I posted on AITA around mid-July. We were okay for 2 months after that. She left the house on October 21st, and we've separated ever since. We only talk about our daughter, who lives with me. We haven't divorced yet, so technically, she is still my wife. Some men told me they were disgusted that I picked my kids over my wife. But guys, come on, there are billions of women on this planet. But I only have 3 kids. There are only 3 of them. They are my life and my world, and I would never choose anyone over them. Some people are meant to be spouses. I think I'm meant to be a parent, and I'm happy with that. I'm not even trying to date anyone in the near future. So that's pretty much the update. Someone in the previous post asked me how my son's mother took the news about him being gay, and she did great. It's not a problem for her, which makes me happy because my boy has a safe and loving family that will always have his back. It's a little late, so I'm sorry if there are any mistakes. I'm not really paying much attention to grammar. Thank you for watching the video.